Well, it's still snowing outside, but if you can grab a quiet moment, here are some great reads, hot off the press, and recommended by Read Woke Canada. First up, we have Black Buck, a novel by Mateo Escarapore. An unambitious 22-year-old, Darren lives in a brownstone with his mom, who wants nothing more than to see him live up to his potential as the valedictorian of Bronx science. But Darren is content, working at Starbucks in the lobby of a midtown office building, hanging out with his girlfriend Soraya and eating his mother's home-cooked meals. All that changes when a chance encounter with Rhett Daniels, the silver-tongued CEO of Someone, New York City's hottest tech startup, results in an exclusive invitation for Darren to join an elite sales team on the 36th floor. After enduring a hell week of training, Darren, the only Black person in the company, reimagines himself as Buck, a ruthless salesman unrecognizable to his family and friends. But when things turn tragic at home and Buck feels he's hit rock bottom, he begins to hatch a plan to help young people of color infiltrate America's sales force, setting off a chain of events that is going to forever change the game. This is a razor-sharp skewering of America's workforce, explores ambition and race, and makes way for a necessary new vision of the American dream. Next up, we have Yellow Wife, a novel by Sadiqa Johnson. Born on a plantation in Charles City, Virginia, Phoebe Dolores Brown has lived a relatively sheltered life. Shielded by her mother's position as the estate's medicine woman and cherished by the master's sister, she is set apart from the others on the plantation, belonging to neither world. She'd been promised freedom on her 18th birthday, but instead of the idyllic life she imagined living with her true love, Essex Henry, Phoebe is forced to leave the only home she's ever known. She unexpectedly finds herself thrust into the deep end of slavery at the infamous Devil's Half Acre, a jail in Richmond, Virginia, where the enslaved are broken, tortured, and sold every day. There, Phoebe is exposed to not just her jailer's cruelty, but also his contradictions. To survive, Phoebe will have to outwit him, and she soon faces the ultimate sacrifice. Next up is The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. Isaiah was Samuel's, and Samuel was Isaiah's. That's the way it was since the beginning, and the way it was meant to be until the end. In the barn they tended to the animals, but also took good care of each other, transforming the hollowed-out shed into a place of human refuge, a source of intimacy and hope in a world ruled by vicious masters. But when an older man, a fellow slave, seeks to gain favor by preaching the master's gospel on the plantation, the enslaved begin to turn on their own. Isaiah and Samuel's love, which was once so simple, is seen as sinful and a clear danger to the plantation's harmony. Robert Jones Jr. fiercely summons the voices of slaver and the enslaved alike to tell the story of these two men, from Amos the preacher to the calculating slave master himself, to the long line of women that surround them, women who have carried the soul of the plantation on their shoulders. As tensions build and the weight of centuries begins to weigh upon them, the prophets reveals the pain and suffering of inheritance, but is also shot through with hope, beauty, and truth, portraying the enormous, heroic power of love. Finally, we have Gingerbread by Helen Oyeyemi. In a reimagining of the classic German fairy tale Hansel and Gretel, a woman named Harriet narrates her origin story to her daughter, Perdita. This turns out to be a delightful tale of a surprising family legacy in which the inheritance is a recipe. Perdita Lee may appear to be your average British schoolgirl. Harriet Lee may seem just a working mother trying to penetrate the school's social hierarchy, but there are signs that they might not be as normal as they think they are, right from the place that they choose to live to the people they call friends, including Harriet's charismatic childhood friend, Gretel Kercheval, a figure who seems to have had a hand in everything, good or bad, that has happened to Harriet since they met. Decades later, when teenaged Perdita sets out to find her mother's long-lost friend, it prompts a new telling of Harriet's story. As the book follows the Lees through encounters with jealousy, ambition, family grudges, work, wealth, and real estate, Gingerbread seems to be the one thing that reliably holds a constant value. This book is endlessly surprising and satisfying. These books are available in multiple formats at opl.ca. You can put one on hold, you could pick one up to read in person, or you can check one out through our digital resources. Enjoy!